IPFW head coach Dane Fife, Zach Plackemeier, and Jeremy Mixon. Jeremy had 19 points, and Plackemeier had 2 points. So we'll start with the statement from you, coach.
Okay, I'll just say what an unbelievable game between two very solid teams, perfectly matched up against one another. And I thought that the difference came down to us making some big shots, I think, ultimately. And I thought, we went small with Brandon Gaines playing at the 4, and I thought that was a big change in the game, too, because Brandon, he's a guy that's really bought into the program. But I give, guys like Jeremy and Zach credit because they defended some really good guards tonight. Sargent and Callahan, to me, are staples of this league in terms of what they've done for South Dakota State, what they've done in this league. To get, and then Nick Daniels, throw Nick Daniels in the mix, to hold Clint Sargent 1 for 8 is probably unheard of in my mind. But you know what, I tell you what, it was just, we're down 7 in the second half, and it was just a really gutsy comeback, because I'll be honest with you, I looked at their guys' faces at halftime, and I was extremely nervous. They long faces, they looked tired, they looked beaten. And I told them after the game, I said, it's amazing what the human spirit can do, and it just goes to show. I always think I know I have these guys figured out, and I don't have a clue. It's just amazing how young kids can bounce back.
Thank you. Questions for players?
Jeremy, talk about having to sit out for a minute down the stretch there. I don't know if you're banged up, but then making that 3-point.
I'll answer that real quick. Jeremy subbed himself out at the end. Is that what you mean, at the end of the game?
I was asking about the 3-pointer that he hit.
In my big mouth. Go ahead, man. I want to tell a story. The last.
Go ahead.
Let's just talk
I'll
about.
ask you when you.
No, I'm going to tell. Go ahead. This is my first time.
The 3-pointer when you came back in the game.
Really, I knew it was a big shot, and like our backs had been against the wall the whole game. It's just repetition. We work on that shot every day in practice, so it was more of just stepping up and putting all the little knick-knack, banged up, hurt injuries against back behind you, and just going out and hitting.
Jeremy, what is the injury?
My foot.
He's fine, Tom. Jeremy's a bit of a drama cat, if you will.
Go ahead and tell your story, Coach.
Well, I just saw Jeremy at the end of the game did one of the most unselfish moves I've seen a player make. They're going to obviously take a 3, and Jeremy said, "Hey, get me out. Let's get somebody else bigger in." And I looked at the coach. He said, "Our guys are kind of locked in," but Jeremy insisted, "Get me out. Let's get somebody bigger in there." We put Yerby in, and I think Snead got the contest. But I thought it was really unselfish on Jeremy's part, and I'm proud of him.
So free throws a big emphasis practice going into this game. You guys are making some big ones down the stretch.
Yeah, we've really struggled shooting free throws all year, so that's something we've been doing every day after practice. Make sure we get repetitions, because that's really lost us a couple games.
Coach, you went with a weird lineup with Gaines and Jeremy. Well, Botts and Yerby were out for forever, it seemed like. Talk about why you went with the different lineup and what you thought you got out of it.
Well, I thought Yerby got tired. And I think it showed. It showed on his defense. He just works so hard. We've asked him to guard post players. He's out on the perimeter. He has to go get offensive rebounds, and he has to rebound for it and bang with the big boys. So I thought Yerby got tired. And I think what Gaines gave us there in the second half, and it's just a trial, Tom. It wasn't a sure bet. All right, let's try Gaines and see, because Gaines is really, at this point, in order for him to play, he can't make mistakes. There's no room for Gaines to make mistakes, and so he's locked in. And I thought what we did was we sagged off of Callahan because they were the older Callahan, because they were giving us such trouble penetrating. We figured with Gaines' length, we wouldn't lose much on the glass, because he's got a tenacity, he's got those long arms, and he can get up and give rebounds. But I think ultimately it was Gaines because Yerby got tired. And I thought Gaines had some huge rebounds down the stretch. I think he got us 2 baskets and made his free throws down the stretch. And Bots, I thought Bots got tired too. He was having a tough time guarding. I thought he was a little rattled offensively, so we had to get him out in favor of get a little bit more energy in Jeremy, Nick, and Zach.
Zach, was the crowd a factor in tonight's game at all for you guys?
You know, when they made runs, we've been preaching all week that the crowd's going to be big and they're going to be loud, and we told ourselves that we can't let them affect the outcome of the game. And when they made a couple runs, it was really loud in there, and I think it kind of rattled us for a little bit. But when we got a timeout or something, we said, hey, let's get it together. We got to keep poised.
One more player question.
Coach, getting 24 minutes from Antoine and 18 from Frank, or Brandon, I should say, and 22 from Jeremy, how big a plus is that, having to go back to work 24 hours from now?
It doesn't bother our guys. You know, like you've seen, they play with sprained ankles, they play with broken fingers, they play with all kinds of injuries. So a little, tired legs won't bother these guys. If Mixon's limping tomorrow, you can bet he'll hear it from me. He'll be called a sissy. I think the main thing is, Tom, is focus, because Oakland, we can't beat Oakland if we make mistakes. We've got to play mistake-free basketball. To me, there's no such thing, and these guys know it as tired mistake, as tired as an excuse. Our guys compete, and that's really what I can say tomorrow is we'll compete, and I've said that from day one.
At this point, the players are welcome to leave if you'd like, to your right, and if Coach stays for just a few more questions.
Coach, how proud were you of your team making those free throws to seal the game?
Well, honestly, the way we've shot free throws, I guess words can't describe, how excited I am for these guys because of what we were up against. And, South Dakota is a very good basketball team, coupled with their crowd. I thought, again, it was just a gutsy performance down the stretch. Halftime, we talked to our bench about how bad they played. I said, I'm not blaming you. I'm challenging you. You guys stunk it up. You blew a 7 and a 5-point lead when we had to give Plackemeier and Bots and Yerby rest. And I'll tell you, they sure did respond tonight. We've got to have it again tomorrow night.
Coach, at 16 and 14, you guaranteed yourself a winning record. Just talk about how significant that is, having come from ground zero 5 years ago.
I look forward to seeing your article tomorrow about that, Tom. But I think the school making the transition in South Dakota and the South Dakota State's in the same boat. It's a tough transition. Your backs are always against the wall. You're always playing, a team that has superb confidence over you because they don't respect you. And so, all the coaches, the coach before me that went through what he went through, Coach Noel, to get us started, and then, I just kind of took over, and these kids, Tom, are what it's all about. And you try to, as a coach, you try to recruit the best possible competitors and students, and guys like Plackemeier, Bots, Daniels, who's a new dad. As of yesterday, man, I thought that was probably one of his better and bigger performances, and I think his little daughter Haley had something to do with that. Hallie Berry, Hallie had something to do with that. Okay, guys, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.